We also have to talk about what's going on here in the U.S., where Southwest Airlines has already canceled nearly 3,000 flights today following a weekend of chaos as the airline struggled to navigate the Christmas holiday rush and dangerous weather conditions. The number of canceled flights for Southwest just yesterday over 10 times higher than for Delta, which had the second most cancellations. You can see Southwest shares are under pressure in the early going, and Southwest put out a statement and said they were fully staffed. They were prepared for the holiday. The problem is geography, effectively. At least that's part of the problem for Southwest. Right. As they point out in their statement, they're the largest carrier in 23 of the top 25 travel markets in the U.S. They're a big market in Buffalo, which, as we know, was one of the hardest hit areas during all of this. Yes, and then they also have a Denver hub. I think their biggest problem is a misallocation of resources. So they were fully staffed coming into this, but then as delays grew upon delays and that kind of snowballed, no pun intended, their schedule, I guess I don't know what the right phrase to call this, itinerary management system, the scheduling management system that they use. It's called point to point, isn't it? Okay. I think that's what it's called for Southwest. Sounds right. Anyway, whatever that system is, was not proving robust. So one of the domestic carriers really responsible for a large bulk of the population here. I think it's idiosyncratic to Southwest. Some of the other airlines didn't have nearly as many problems. You can blame geography, but at the end of the day, it looks like when you have that many problems stacking upon each other, there's probably something systemic, and that point-to-point system, as you just pointed out, probably taking the brunt of that. Yeah, so I should say geography plus that system, and that caused that cascade of delays and cancellations. And I mentioned Buffalo, and we talk about the travel system being taxed, but of course that wasn't the only system. The emergency responders in the Buffalo area were taxed. We know of at least 28 deaths related to the storm in Buffalo, some of them due to people having cardiac events as they were shoveling snow, some of them due to power loss and the temperatures just being so cold that people couldn't deal with it. The Buffalo Niagara Airport, Jared, got 49 inches of snow over a period of 3 days. Now, even for Buffalo, which is used to this kind of weather, that was just an untenable situation. Yeah, I'm expecting the White Walkers to walk out on the screen here. I'm looking at some of these images, just absolutely incredible. Haven't seen anything this quite the while. I will say, Julie, probably I ate a little bit more over the 3-day weekend than I would have otherwise, just because I was encamped within my own household. Not willing to brave the teens, this lovely weather. It wasn't that bad here in the city, I got to say, but I didn't go out that much. No, I mean, and we didn't get snow here in the way that they did. We did get things that iced over. One more thing that I do want to mention when we talk about systems being taxed is that there are a lot of now water problems in the South because of freezing temperatures, freezing water lines, causing leaks. And so a lot of areas of the South are now under boil advisories, either because they have low pressure or there are concerns about contamination in the water. There are places like Jackson, Mississippi, that are acutely affected by that. So we got to keep an eye on that too. In other words, when we look at the economic effects of a system like this that is so widespread across the U.S., I think it's going to be a few days before we get a full grasp of the full effects of that system. Agreed.